If President John Mahama agree to take these deported Somalians into Ghana, we are also going to go to the street, of course. I agree with you, my sister. And you know, sometimes I say that you need to live the African experience to understand certain things. Now we hear what is happening in Minnesota, and we are not even saying that Trump is right or wrong. That is not what some of us are even talking about. But we are thinking, or we are watching how you are coming online and trolling Black Americans and trolling and making fun of whatever is happening. And you have some Africans supporting you to do whatever you are doing. Now they are deporting you. Now they are tracing your IP addresses because you said Minnesota was promised to you 3,000 years ago. We come online to do live streams and we tell you to stop, because if you don't stop, it will affect you and it will affect a lot of Africans. Now it is even affecting Ethiopians. How dare you go to somebody's country? You have some of these diasporans supporting you. At the end of the day, these people are Black Americans. They will not be deported. You will be deported. So to those of you giving these people the energy and the engine to keep doing whatever they are doing, you see that they are supporting them. So do you think you are helping them or you are destroying them? And I don't even understand why is that when people are being deported, their own country doesn't want to accept them. If your own country doesn't want to accept you, why should another country accept you? President John Mahama, share no one yes a mistake we. Somebody who will come to my platform and call me a monkey. I guess I'm a nice monkey then. You see, they are deporting you. And now they are looking for African countries to actually really accept you. I am not saying that all Somalis, I am not saying that all the communities are doing it. But what you are doing on this app and what you are doing on this internet, you even say you don't need our help. So which means we cannot even speak. But at the end of the day, when they deport you, you are coming to our countries. This is not acceptable. If you're Somali and then you are listening. And I know they will come to this video in the comment with their shenanigans. You understand? So if you're a Ghanaian, please listen. Be careful. Let's keep watching and let's keep talking. If they don't know, because I've stopped, I'm not even going live about Somalians again, because they'll come and insult me. They'll come and call me monkey. They'll come and call me weak. You see? And this is what I say. You are only tough online, but when the law catches with you, then you will know where you are going to be. You are here calling people Jarrell, and it is affecting almost all the Africans. And some of us, the sensible ones, when we are talking, you come and insult us. But I don't blame you. You have some Black Americans, you have some Caribbean people who support you. We are all Africans. At the end of the day, you are going to be deported, and we are going to feel the heat. You understand what I'm saying? A word to a white is enough.
If Ruto agrees to take the deported Somalis into Kenya.
Moving on, 64 Somalis and 7 Kenyans arrived at the JKIA today after being deported from the United States. The 71 were accompanied by U.S. security officials.
7:30 a.m. Kenyan time at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Kenyans Charles Kihanya, Bota Patrick, Githua Paul, Mose Eliud Nyachai, Jacqueline Bosibori, Ogari Vincent and Sit Sila were among 71 individuals, including 64 Somali nationals who have been deported from the United States.
Now, recently we saw Trump deported some of Somalis who stayed in Minnesota, and just because of the fraud schemes they had in Minnesota, that's why he deported them. And recently we are seeing them being deported not to Somalia, but coming to African nations, other African states, some of which it's Ghana, Kenya, and Africans are not ready to receive Somalis from Minneapolis, and they are saying they don't want to be associated with them because at first they did not want to, belong to them. They say they don't belong to Africa. They don't belong to they don't want to associate themselves with blackness. And I could hear a lot of times them saying that they are Arabs and they're not blacks, they're not Africans, but rather Arabs. But when it comes to being deported, they're not taken to Arab countries. they are being brought back to Africa. Now, I just want us to watch these videos. Of course, you're going to see, let me say, very delusional Somalis. Now, what has, allow me to say that, what, has befall them, because, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I want us to watch the videos. Of course, Africans are saying they don't want them. They don't want anything of Somalis, yet being brought back to their countries. Let's dive deep to the videos. Share your thoughts, share your views concerning this. I'm going to greatly appreciate, and do subscribe to the channel, do like the video, share the content. I'm going to greatly appreciate. I'm going to share my thoughts later on after the clip, so make sure you watch the very end. For now, let's dive in.
Every Somali is a Kenyan Somali. Get your IDs. There is no discrimination. Get your IDs. You can be 60-year-old, you can be 50-year-old, you can be 20-year-old. Get your IDs. Forget about your tribe and where you have come from. In the past, there are particular communities that were listed as Kenyan Somalis. No, every Somali is a Kenyan Somali.
There was an attempt actually to rewrite and rubbish the history of the Somali community and their contribution to the making of the nation state of the Republic of Kenya. That of the first British or the Kenya-Uganda railway. Do you know the first people who built that railway? We only know the Indian coolies. The other groups were the Somali, the British Somalilanders. The British Somalilanders. Those are the people who founded Parklands, Isli, part of Thika. I just want to take you to Thika here. The famous Ali Kabati. He was one of the longest serving councillors in the history of Kenya. If you find the history, you will find that he was the owner of a big chunk of land from Pangani all the way to Gatundu, including even where right now Safari Park actually sits. So once you are familiar with the history of this is why we have so many centers. Start from Cielo. Cielo is a product of the first Somali products of actually the first Somali railway builders. That's the history of Cielo. If you go to Nyanyuki here, you will find the same. Go to Nyeri, you will find the same. I don't need to. Naivasha here, you have the Sakia community. All the way to Nakuru, Eldoret, up to Bungoma. You have had the history of Maamina. How these people came to Kenya. It's not the way that's been projected. Even our own history was twisted. Immediately after independence, because of the shifter menace, there was an attempt actually to rewrite and rubbish the history of the Somali community and their contribution to the making of the nation state of the Republic of Kenya. That is properly documented right now. We only need to go back to the archives. See the unbiased historical contribution of the Somali community actually in our archives, and you will appreciate that it's not the way some of the things have been projected. It's not true. And that's why proudly today, the Somalis are now the most widespread community in the world. If you go to Tel Aviv, you will find a Somali. If you go to Moscow today, you will find a Somali. If you go to Vienna, you will find a Somali. And that's by the grace of God. And therefore, today, we have so many elected people of Somali descent actually in the European Parliament. All over. We have them in Canada. We have them in America. We have them in... Go to Dubai today. It's like you'll think that is another Mogadishu. Go to Vienna. Go to Brussels.
Thank you.
So I think the bit that we need to demystify is there are criminal elements in every community. Criminal element is not the title of the members of the Somali community. Criminal elements are individuals. Wherever they do, wherever they are, let criminal elements carry the attack. What is happening in America, I think it's tantamount to ethnic profiling. Is something that least expected actually in America, and we hope and pray that it's going to pass. And we understand the dynamics actually in that particular region. But in Kenya here, whatever somebody has said here, I can tell you this, and you are familiar with it. The Somali community has suffered over the years because of the shifter menace. That brief shifter menace, you are aware what has happened? How we were reduced to second-class citizen, how we were given, there was the District Contagious Act, a unique law for the members of the Somali community. We have had the Indemnity Act, a unique law for the members of the Somali community. All these things ended with the advent of multipartyism in 1991. And truly, the Somalis in Kenya here, just like the Somalis are all over. By the way, if you go to Ethiopia here, the Somalis are now the third largest community. After the Oromos and Amharas, the Somalis are now the third. The Somalis are in Djibouti. The Somalis are in Somalia. The Somalis are in Kenya here. The Somalis are in Somaliland here. These are historical facts. What can we do? There's nothing that could. There's even a Somali member of parliament, a Somali minister in Tanzania. What can we do? This is the making of the scramble for Africa. The Somalis were partitioned into different parts of Africa, and by extension, the Somalis have become now the most widespread community in the whole world. The only thing that I will tell the Somalis, wherever they are, continue being persistent, continue being resilient, continue being hardworking, and wherever they are, function in line with your traditions and the norms of those countries where you reside in.
Right, thank you.
Don't accept any intimidation.
Truth is, all Somalians who cross the border and come to Kenya and fly to abroad, they all have Kenyan passports. Did you ever sit down and ask yourself, how do they manage to get Kenyan passports? Na wewe kama Mkenya halisi, it is difficult for you to obtain that document. Let us celebrate Kenya.
Major breaking news. There is a great tension between Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia after a Somalia US-based Congresswoman Ilhan Omar went ahead and claimed that Ethiopia and Kenya had stolen part of their land, of the Somaliland. You won't believe this. Specifically in Kenya is northeastern part of Kenya, which is made up of Mandera, Moyale, Wajir, Isiolo, Garissa, you can name it all. That part belongs to Somalia. You won't believe this. And she went ahead and said, one day Somalia will wake up, liberate, and take their land back. You won't believe this. And this particular claim has literally brought a controversial tension online, whereby a lot of Kenyans, a lot of Ethiopians are throwing backlashes on her. And let me tell you, all this particular tension started when the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, went ahead and said that the Somalians who are living in the United States, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, contributes nothing to the United States. They need to go back to their nation, Somalia, that stinks. He went ahead and even said that Somalians are garbage. You won't believe this. And this is the reason as to why Ilhan Omar has actually come out claiming that part of their land was stolen by Kenya and Ethiopia. So we literally don't know what will happen. It has been forth and back online. Let's keep on following.
They just run around killing each other. There's no structure. I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I can say that about other countries too. I can say it about other countries too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country.
Somalis destroyed their country through civil strife in the 80s. And that country has never been the same. A country that was running well, democratically. They had clan wars, and that country was destroyed. And they became refugees, and most of them found their ways into Kenya. And out of Kenya, they got a clear passage to the USA. And they were settled in Minnesota, America. But what they've been doing is, say, for the last so years, they've been found in a scandal that has milked America more than $1.7 billion US. And the president of the US is pissed off with Somalis. Now he wants them out of the US. He says he don't want them. And so it's very important for a country like Kenya to safeguard our unity and to prepare ourselves to face differences. That's a key statement right there, because our differences are they pale considering what would happen if we find ourselves in a situation whereby we don't have a country that we call Kenya. Listen to what Donald Trump is talking about Somalis, and he's on his way to kick them out of the US. Asanteni.
Welcome back again. And I believe that in every community, there are always going to be some people who are going to mess up. And that's, allowed, and we can understand that. But a place where you get to see a whole community messing up, now things get a little bit different and even a little bit difficult to handle those people. And that's why you also seen Trump now is deporting like the whole Somali people. If you don't have documents, then you're going to be deported. And that's okay with me, because if I was a president and people are messing up in my country, man, they are going to pack up their things and leave. Because they do say, if you go to Rome, then act like Romanian people, act like Romans. Don't go there and start your behavior. Go sit down, try to learn what are some of the things that this community do, or this nation do, and what are some of the things that they don't like, what are some of the behaviors that they are not going to be okay with, and now try to act in a certain way that you're going to be acceptable in that community. But you coming in and bringing your own behaviors, man, you're going to leave that country. And that's why you see Trump deporting them. Of course, them trying to steal from American people. Now Trump has to chip in, and that's why you see even Americans are not okay with the stuff. Of course, I believe black people are very good people, that they try to listen to people, they try to sit down and get to feel people, because they've been there, they've been facing oppression, and they've been in that place where no one wants to listen to them. Everyone thinks that they are the cause of the problem. And so if you come to meet someone like that, he resonates with you, he understands that situation better. And so to see black people get to a point of saying that we don't want these African people, we don't want these Somalis, then I can see they're very they're pissed off, and the behavior is not that well. And you've seen in those videos that those Somalis are now in Africa, and some of the Africans don't want them, because I believe if they were to be if their character has to be transformed, then the punishment should be them going back to their country, that country they don't want to go back to, and at least face the harsh realities of life in that country, so that anytime they're given a chance to live differently, to live better, they're not going to take that for granted. They're going to grab it and utilize it well. But if you bring them to Kenya, if you bring them to Ghana, if you bring them to Tanzania, if you take them to any of these states that are doing well, you've not yet punished them. And so if you bring them back again, that habit is not going to change, and you've not hurt them at all. They are just they are not different. They are not different like they are in Minneapolis. And I think it's not that African people don't want them, but it's because of the character. It's because of that entitlement they always, have once they're given a little chance, to better themselves. I showed you a video here where they are saying every Somali is a Kenyan citizen. Whether you have a citizenship, whether you have the documents or not, but so long as you're a Somali, you are a Kenyan citizen. Now, these are two different states. I want you to get that. Kenya is an African country. Somali is also a different one. And so the person speaking is a Somali MP, but in Kenya. Is an MP in Kenya, and saying that every Somali is a Kenyan citizen. And so you get to see that entitlement, and that's why I see most of the Africans people don't most of the Africans don't want them in their countries, because they will feel entitled to the country and start messing up. I believe you also saw the video that I showed you. They were stepping, on the African, not African, on the Kenyan flag, and saying that, and also raising a Somalian flag in Kenya. And that shows you how, they can misbehave if given chance to stay in a given area. And now this gives you the reason why most of Africans don't want them. If it was me, I would want them to go back to Somaliland. If I was Trump now deporting them, I would make sure that they land to Somali land, and not in any African state, because this is going to help a lot in terms of making sure that they feel the repercussions of their actions. Now, these are just my thoughts. I don't know what you think about this. I believe we might have different opinion concerning these, but regardless, drop your thoughts. I believe it's out of that different opinion that we get to see things in a broader perspective, get to learn from it, get to understand in depth about a given matter, topic, or whatever you may call it. Now, this marks the end of this session, and thank you so much for tuning in. Do like the video, share the content, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to greatly appreciate. For now, I would like to bring it to a close here, and really hoping that I'm going to see you in my next episode. But until then, stay safe, support each other, stand with each other, and man, let's make life look different. Hope to see you soon. Goodbye, folks.